There is an invisible force that some human beings carry with them, an energy that transcends calculated words and gestures. Napoleon Hill, in his studies of the human mind and success, taught us that the true power of attraction does not lie in manipulative techniques or superficial strategies, but in the depth of our own being. When we talk about what makes a man emotionally attached to someone, we are touching on sacred territory, the territory of the human soul. The first thing we need to understand is that genuine emotional attachment is born from authenticity. It's not about performing or playing a role, but about being truly who you are, without masks or pretense. Hill discovered that the most magnetic people were those who had found peace with themselves, who did not try to be more than they were, nor less than they deserved to be. Think for a moment, how many times have you felt an unexplainable connection with someone who was simply being genuine? There was something about that person that made them shine from the inside out, a light that could not be manufactured or imitated. This light is the result of deep internal work, of a journey of self-discovery and acceptance. A man, by nature, seeks emotional stability in a chaotic world. He looks for someone who is a safe harbor, not in the sense of dependence, but in the sense of consistency. When you work on your emotional healing, when you become whole within yourself, you naturally emanate this stability. You don't need to prove anything to anyone because you have already proven it to yourself. Emotional healing is a delicate and continuous process. It involves looking at your past wounds not with self-pity, but with compassion and wisdom. It means recognizing that your experiences, even the most painful ones, have shaped your capacity for empathy and understanding. A man feels drawn to a woman who has transformed her pain into wisdom, her scars into strength. There is a vast difference between need and choice in love. When you love out of need, you become dependent, needy, anxious. When you love by choice, you become powerful, whole, irresistible. He'll always emphasize that a prosperous mind is one that operates from abundance, not scarcity. In an emotional context, this means loving from your completeness, not from your voids. Self-love is not selfishness, it is responsibility. It is the recognition that you are worthy of love, respect, and happiness, not because someone gave you these things, but because they are your birthright. When a man realizes that you genuinely love yourself, he understands that being with you is a privilege, not one of your needs. This dynamic completely changes the relationship game. Napoleon Hill always spoke of mental energy as a tangible force, something that can be felt even without words. There is a specific vibration that emanates from people who are in harmony with themselves, and this vibration is irresistible to those who are prepared to receive it. It is as if you were a radio station tuned to the purest frequency of self-love, and you would naturally attract listeners who resonate with that melody. A man becomes emotionally attached when he feels he can let his guard down without losing respect. This is only possible when you demonstrate through your presence that you are a safe space for vulnerability. But here is the beautiful paradox. You only become that safe space when you have first become a home for yourself. It is impossible to offer what you do not possess internally. Genuine confidence does not scream, it whispers with conviction. When you have worked on your limiting thought patterns, when you have healed the wounds that made you question your own worth, you naturally emanate a different energy. It is not arrogance, it is an intimate knowledge of who you are and what you bring to the world. This energy is like a beacon in the darkness for someone who is also on their journey of growth. Hill discovered that the human mind is naturally attracted to what is familiar in terms of energy, but also to what represents growth. When you are in constant evolution, when you see life as a school and every experience as a lesson, you become fascinating. Not because you are perfect, but because you are committed to your own expansion. A man notices this and wants to be part of this journey of mutual growth. Emotional independence is magnetic because it is rare. How many people do you know who are genuinely happy alone, who do not need external validation to know who they are? Who can be in a relationship without losing their identity? This is a precious and extremely attractive quality. When a man realizes that you chose to be with him, Not because you need to, but because you want to. It awakens in him a deep desire to be worthy of that choice. There is something profoundly transformative about being near someone who knows themselves well. You become a mirror for their own possibilities of growth. Your presence inspires him to be better, not through demands or expectations, but by the simple example of who you are. Hill called this influence through example, the most powerful way to positively impact another person. Constant personal growth creates a dynamic of eternal discovery. Every conversation reveals a new facet of you. Every shared experience shows a new dimension of your personality. You become a fascinating book that he never finishes reading, a song that always reveals new melodies. This quality of constant surprise, yet consistent with who you are, maintains interest and deepens emotional attachment. There is an unexplainable magic in people who are truly present in the moment. Napoleon Hill observed that the most successful individuals possessed a unique quality, the ability to be completely where they were, making those around them feel seen and valued. In an emotional context, this full presence becomes a powerful magnet for the masculine heart. When you are genuinely present, not just physically, but emotionally and energetically, you create a space where true intimacy can flourish. It's not about being always available or agreeing with everything, but about being fully engaged when you choose to be. It is the difference between quantity and quality of attention. A man can receive attention from many people, but he rarely finds someone who truly sees him, his nuances, his silent fears, his unspoken dreams. Deep emotional healing allows you to be present without carrying the weight of past traumas into every interaction. When you have processed your pain, when you have made peace with your history, you are not constantly reacting to old triggers. This creates a clarity of perception that is extremely attractive. You respond to the person in front of you, not to the shadow of who hurt you before. Hill always emphasized that a clear mind is a powerful mind. In a relationship, this translates into authentic communication. You say what you think with kindness, but without unnecessary filters born of fear. You express your feelings without drama, your needs without manipulation. This transparent honesty, seasoned with self-love, creates a relationship dynamic where trust can grow naturally. There is a special serenity in people who have made peace with their imperfections. You are no longer fighting against who you are working with who you are to become better. This internal acceptance is reflected externally as a peace that is palpable. A man feels this energy and instinctively wants to protect it, nurture it, and be a part of it. Conscious personal growth also means you do not project your insecurities onto his actions. When he arrives late, you do not automatically assume it is because he does not care. When he is quiet, you do not interpret it as rejection. Your clear mind allows you to see situations for what they really are, not through the distorted lens of unhealed wounds. This emotional maturity is refreshing and creates an environment where both can be authentic. The ability to maintain your own energy, regardless of the other person's mood or emotional state, is a form of stability that few can offer. You become like a solid rock amidst life's storms, not rigid but firm, not indifferent but not reactive. This quality makes a man feel safe to explore all facets of his personality in your presence. Napoleon Hill discovered in his studies that the most magnetic personalities possessed a seemingly contradictory quality. They were simultaneously strong and soft, determined and flexible, confident and humble. This harmonious duality is especially powerful in the context of relationships, creating a dynamic that awakens both respect and tenderness in the masculine heart. The feminine strength that is most attractive is not one that competes or dominates, but one that sustains and elevates. It is the strength that comes from the certainty of who you are, the clarity of your values, and the courage to defend them with love. When a man realizes that you can be strong without being harsh, assertive without being aggressive, he finds in this combination something that his masculine soul recognizes as complementary and necessary. Your thought patterns, when purified through inner work, allow you to respond to life's challenges with a wisdom that impresses. You do not react on impulse or dramatize minor situations. Instead, you evaluate, ponder, and act from a place of inner centeredness. This emotional maturity acts as a balm to the masculine spirit, which often carries the weight of responsibility and difficult decisions. Genuine delicacy is not weakness, it is refined strength. It is the ability to touch someone's heart with kind words, to offer comfort without diminishing their pain, to celebrate victories without creating competition. When you cultivate this delicacy through self-love, it becomes natural, not performative. A man feels the difference between calculated kindness and authentic goodness, and it is with the latter that he truly falls in love. Personal growth teaches you that you can be vulnerable without being dependent. You can ask for help without becoming a burden. You can show your tears without losing your dignity. This conscious vulnerability is incredibly attractive because it demonstrates confidence in your own humanity. You are not afraid to be seen in your entirety, with your strengths and frailties, because you know that is what makes you real and connectable. Hill always spoke about the power of gratitude as a transformative force. When you genuinely appreciate the small things a man does, not out of a need to validate him, but out of authentic recognition, it awakens in him a natural desire to do more. Not because you demanded it, but because you noticed. This appreciation comes from an abundant heart, not a needy one, and that difference is deeply felt. The ability to nurture without suffocating is a refined art that few people master. You offer your care as a gift, not as a chain. You support his dreams without trying to control them, celebrate his successes without diminishing your own. This form of expansive love, which seeks the well-being of the other without sacrificing yourself, creates an addictive dynamic of mutual growth. There is also a silent elegance in knowing when to speak and when to allow silence, when to offer advice and when to just be present, when to be the center of attention and when to let him shine. This emotional intelligence, developed through healing and self-knowledge, makes your presence always an addition, never a burden in his life. Napoleon Hill revealed that the deepest and most lasting connections are forged when two people share not just feelings, but visions of the future. There is something profoundly magnetic in a woman who has clarity about her own dreams and who can envision possibilities for joint growth without losing her individuality. This ability to dream together while maintaining personal integrity is one of the most powerful elements of masculine emotional attachment. When you have deeply worked on your emotional healing, you do not seek a man to complete your story. You seek someone to co-create even more beautiful chapters with. This fundamental difference changes the entire dynamic of the relationship. Instead of two halves trying to become a whole, you become two complete beings creating something greater than the sum of your parts. This expansive view of a relationship is irresistible to a man who is also committed to his personal growth. Mutual inspiration arises naturally when you are aligned with your life's purpose. You do not live through his dreams, nor do you expect him to fulfill yours. Instead, you become catalysts for each other, accelerating mutual growth and fulfillment. Hill observed that the most prosperous partnerships were those where each person became a better version of themselves in the other's presence, and this happens when there is this synergy of visions. Your elevated thought patterns, cultivated through inner work, allow you to see possibilities where others see only obstacles. You become a source of positive perspective without being naive, of hope without being fanciful. This quality of elevating the energy of any situation through a constructive mindset is extremely valuable to a man who faces daily challenges in his personal and professional life. Deep self-love manifests in the ability to genuinely celebrate his successes without feeling that it diminishes yours. You become his biggest cheerleader, not out of emotional dependence, but from an abundance of heart. This generosity of spirit creates an environment where both feel free to pursue their most ambitious goals, knowing they have unconditional support. Emotional healing also allows you to navigate difficult times with grace and wisdom. You do not abandon ship at the first storm, nor do you dramatize every wave. Instead, you become a stabilizing presence that helps both of you find the way through adversity. This conscious loyalty, which remains not out of fear or dependence but out of choice and commitment, is profoundly touching to the masculine heart. There is a special magic in sharing dreams and working together to realize them. When you can talk about the future with excitement, make plans without anxiety, and imagine possibilities without fear, you create a mental space where the relationship can flourish. Hill always emphasized that imagination is one of the most powerful faculties of the human mind, and when two people imagine a bright future together, they begin to create the reality of that future. Your ability to maintain faith in possibilities, even when the present reality is challenging, acts as a beacon of hope. You are not blind to problems, but you are also not defined by them. This balanced perspective, which acknowledges challenges while maintaining focus on solutions, is extremely attractive to someone who is also committed to building a meaningful life. Napoleon Hill concluded his studies with a profound truth. True love is not just union, it is transmutation. Two people meet and, in the sacred crucible of a conscious relationship, both emerge transformed, refined, elevated. It is in this ability to be a catalyst for transformation, both for yourself and for the other, that the greatest power to create genuine and lasting emotional attachment resides. When you have completely embodied the principles of emotional healing and self-love, you become a mirror of possibilities for anyone who enters your orbit, not through words or advice, but simply by being who you are. Your presence whispers to his heart, "See what is possible when someone makes peace with themselves." This silent inspiration is more powerful than any attempt to change him directly. The true alchemy happens when you can see the golden potential within him, even when he cannot see it himself. It is not about idealization or denial of flaws, but about having a clear vision of who he can become when he is at his best. This ability to see beyond temporary limitations, to believe in the highest version of someone, is a rare gift that is born from your own journey of personal transformation. Your thought patterns, purified by the wisdom gained on your inner journey, allow you to respond to the best in him, even when he is offering less than that. It does not mean accepting inappropriate behavior, but it means having the emotional clarity to distinguish between who the person essentially is and how they are behaving momentarily. This emotional maturity creates a safe space where his true personality can emerge and flourish. Constant personal growth makes you an inexhaustible source of novelty and discovery. Every day, you are becoming a slightly better version of yourself, and this keeps the relationship alive and dynamic. A man becomes deeply attached when he realizes that being with you is a journey of continuous growth, not a static destination. You become the most fascinating adventure of his life. Deep emotional healing allows you to love without neurotic attachment, to give of yourself without losing yourself, to commit without sacrificing yourself. This elevated form of love, which Hill would call love based on mental prosperity, is magnetic because it is rare. You offer your open heart but keep your dignity intact. This combination of vulnerability and strength is irresistible to a man who is also on his journey of personal evolution. Finally, there is an almost mystical quality in people who have transformed their wounds into wisdom, their fears into courage, their limitations into opportunities for growth. You carry with you the living proof that transformation is possible, that a human being can transcend their circumstances and create a more beautiful reality. This energy of infinite possibility is contagious and awakens in the masculine heart a deep desire to be part of this transformative magic. When a man realizes that his life has become richer, more meaningful, more beautiful since you entered it, not because you did things for him, but because your presence inspired him to do things for himself, he experiences the kind of emotional attachment that transcends passion or convenience. He becomes attached to his own best version, reflected in the eyes of someone who genuinely believes in human greatness. This is the final alchemy. Together, you become more than you ever dreamed of being alone. And it is in this dance of mutual transformation that your hearts become irreversibly intertwined, creating not just a relationship, but an emotional work of art that honors the best in both of you.